All right, so I had a good number of you send me this video in regards to what happened at the daycare in Cape Cod. So I'm going to watch it with you. I knew about it. I have not watched the video yet, but let's get into it together.
Covering the truth. Boston 25 News.
By the way, it's shocking that Boston 25 News is actually covering this. That just goes to show you the amount of public pressure that they probably received. But I think it's also simultaneously shocking that no other news stations have covered this, right?
News investigates.
Home daycare on the Cape has shut down. This comes as 25 Investigates began asking questions about a man who had been staying there.
Investigative reporter Ted Daniel is breaking this story. As Ted explains, that man was a wanted fugitive.
Oh boy.
U.S. immigration authorities arrested Andre Tiago Lucas in October. According to ICE, he came to Massachusetts to escape a prison sentence in his home country. Lucas had been staying at a home in Hyannis with the mother of his 2 kids. 25 Investigates got a tip that home was a state-licensed daycare.
Man, we just wanted to ask you about your daycare.
Since our visit in March, the family daycare at this Hyannis home
got
has
a nice
closed.
car, huh?
And the owner, Franciel Nunez, has allowed her daycare license to expire. This is a screenshot from before Nunez's name was removed from a database of state-approved child care providers. The Department of Early Education and Care, or EEC, gave Nunez a daycare license in March 2022, but that never should have happened. She was hiding a secret.
13 anos em Minas Gerais. Tiago Lucas, de 30.
Andre Tiago Lucas is the reported father of Nunez's children. ICE says he was sentenced to 9 years of prison for the rape of a 13-year-old girl in his home country of Brazil.
Nothing surprises me anymore. Do I find it wrong? 100% wrong.
We shared our findings with Worcester County Sheriff Lou Evangelitis, an outspoken supporter of immigration reform in Massachusetts.
But the idea that someone has been documented that a Brazilian national fled the country because they were convicted for rape of a 13-year-old and could come to Massachusetts and not only disappear into the fabric of Massachusetts, but actually be living in a home that was a daycare center for young people. That's terrifying.
Records show
Horrible.
EEC inspected the home daycare 5 times, but according to the agency, they saw no evidence of Lucas living there.
But does that raise questions about their oversight and their inspections?
Stephen Exaros is the state rep for the
They
5th
need
Barnes.
so they need to find out not only the organization that inspected, but they need to find out who the inspector was. And that is the key to the answer.
District on the Cape. He spent 40 years in law enforcement before coming to the State House.
So you've really got to, I think, go out of your way to make sure each place is as safe as it should be. And that's with proper background checks, looking around when you visit to see if there's any signs of anything wrong.
How you doing, guys? Good, how you doing? Not too bad.
Nunez called Barnstable police on us when we tried to speak with her.
Can I leave you my card in case you have a lawyer or someone else who'd like to speak with me?
EEC confirms it did not learn of Lucas's connection to the daycare until 4 months after his highly publicized arrest.
Our children are innocent, and when they go to a daycare, it's almost like we're putting their lives in the hands of others.
EEC requires background checks on all people who live or regularly visit home daycares. But even if Nunez had disclosed Lucas, his child rape conviction in Brazil would not have been found. That's because EEC does not check for criminal history outside of the U.S. The agency also doesn't check immigration status.
There you go.
For 25 Investigates, I'm Ted Daniel.
You know what? You know what I think happened? Wait, actually, I want to show you something really quickly. So this is my, I typed in illegal re-entry. This has nothing to do with what I just showed you, but I just want to show you this, right? I'm subscribed to Leah Foley's DOJ, let's call them press releases when people get arrested. And there's like 15 people here just since April 2nd that are just in regards to unlawful or illegal reentry, amongst other things involved. And that's just illegal reentry. So there's like 15 people here just since April 2nd. It's absolutely crazy. Now, I will tell you, in regards to what happened here at the daycare, so you know what could have happened? So this guy, he fled his home country after the vicious crime that he committed. He came here, right? And he was living with this woman and then also had children with this woman that owned a daycare. You know, I'm really curious to see if perhaps this woman felt as though she would be like an accessory to some sort of crime or guilty in some way, manner, or form. So what I mean by that is this. So if she knew that he had committed a crime in another country, and let's say he was staying with her and she knew this information, she could have felt as though that she would be also liable to some extent because she knew about this and she was also harboring this person who ended up, you know, she had 2 kids with this guy. Alternatively, maybe she didn't know. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt here. Again, complete speculation here. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she did not know about that and they ended up having kids together, whatever it may be. She finds out this information, and that by that given point in time, now she's pigeonholed, and this woman is in a position that, you know, she would feel liable if she were to disclose this to the police, because is there a potential liability there? Perhaps, maybe, I don't know. But there is this thing going on here, and you could see it happening throughout most of the country, where it seems as though there are not a good majority, but there is some people out there that are doing everything in their willpower to either A, obstruct ICE from doing what they need to do, or B, they are doing what they deem, I guess, the right thing to do in either harboring or hiding people or sneaking them out of court, whatever it may be. And I truly don't, I would have to look into the psychology of this, right? But I just truly don't understand it. And if I didn't give that woman the benefit of the doubt and say that she knew about these things, proceeded to still have children with this guy, meanwhile, he's staying at a daycare, yeah, that is a huge problem, okay? And here's the deal. What happens in Massachusetts is that the laws for illegal immigrants are optional. They're essentially optional. When you have right to shelter, when you have sanctuary cities, and when you have a state that claims they're not a sanctuary state, but meanwhile, every single municipality, town, city goes through with flying colors and does what a sanctuary city does, whether or not they want to call them that. Yeah, of course, people are going to come here, and perhaps not everybody coming here is, first of all, they're breaking the law anyway by coming over illegally, right? But second of all, you're going to have people here that are bad actors. It's this soft on crime policies that this state has. And this is the collateral damage from soft on crime policies, right? So again, this woman, she could either be in category A, where she knew, or category B, where she didn't know and she found out. I'm not sure which is the two. But the real story here, and maybe I'll even get on this, is investigating the EEC. More importantly, investigating who did the inspections. So I would think, from what I know based on inspections, I have friends that have restaurants, right? I think that what happens with a lot of these state-run organizations is that they have normally 1 to 2, maybe up to 3 inspectors, depending on a geographic area. So let's say they don't have one person for one county. I think that would be too much to cover. But I'm willing to bet that over the course, I think they said from 2022 and beyond, let's call it 3 years, I would think there's a high probability that the same person inspected the same exact property. If that's the case, that person could potentially be held liable, as well as the woman that was running the daycare. That's what could happen here. That's where the real story is, because if you get behind the methodology of whether or not, like they're saying that the EEC or perhaps this investor, what's it called? The inspector, maybe they knew, maybe they didn't. They didn't see any wrongdoing, whatever it is. Is that necessarily true? Or did they know something was going on? So like this guy or this girl that was doing the inspection could also potentially be liable here, right? Liable in the sense that if they did know and they kind of just swept it under the rug, it's a huge problem. And it all stems back to being soft on this topic. That's the problem here. And the softer you are on these things, this is what happens. Thank God, thank the Lord that nothing happened at the daycare, as far as we know, at the daycare itself, because this would be even, more blown out of proportion if it did. So thank God nothing happened. But I know as a parent, if I was sending my kids to this daycare and I found this information out, as a matter of fact, if you're out there, let me know. Send me an email. So if I was a parent, I would be absolutely so pissed off and so upset that this is happening in my backyard. But the softer on crime or the softer on law that you are, and when laws become optional, this is what happens. This is the collateral damage of this. And this is what will continue to happen. And the more that it's surprising that Boston 25 covered this, but it's more so, I would say not surprising that more news stations are not covering the story to some extent or at length, right? But anyway, that's all I got for today. I just wanted to bring this to light. And if any parents were sending their kids there, please send me an email. Let me know if you have any information on this. Overall, I think it's despicable. And I think the softer on crime that we are, and the more optional laws are for certain subsections of people, this is only going to happen at scale. You cannot correct these issues unless something happens to the people that are effectively allowing it to happen. They should be arrested is what should happen. They should be arrested as accessory to any crimes that these people are committing. Period. End of story. I don't feel sorry for people that are coming here illegally. And, again, our politicians are basically, we're like second-rate citizens here. And the laws apply to us, but not to them. If you want to radicalize people, guess what? Make things unfair. That's what radicalizes people. And that's where people get pissed off. And that's essentially what's happening here. And that's why the majority of the country is for ICE getting rid of these illegal immigrants. It's just the way that it is. People are fed up with their money not going towards taxpayer benefits, let's say, or not going back to the taxpayer, and they're going to these illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, these towns are struggling to meet their budgets, and all of this stuff is happening. It's unbelievable to me. It's astonishing to me, and it really should not be happening. These politicians need to do what is right, not because of some ideology that their party believes in. Okay, because what's happening is they are putting the residents of the state of these sanctuary cities at risk. That is the reality. That is the reality. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.